Hey, just another quick shout out for my friend Bossum here. Make sure you check out his YouTube channel. Definitely subscribe to his channel. He's got a lot of great content, not only about options trading, but also about real estate investing, budgeting, and just all around general finance. So make sure you give him a channel, like, and subscribe. The link to his YouTube channel is going to be in the description below. So make sure you check that out. Hey guys, how's it going? Back with another daily update video. Taking a look at the heat map here. Clearly a very green day across the board. Big tech was up, Amazon, Facebook, Google, Apple, Microsoft. And I'll admit, it was a little bit tenuous because if you weren't aware, today, Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook, Jeff Bezos from Amazon, Sundar Pichai from Google, and Tim Cook from Apple all were in Congress testifying regarding issues with privacy and security with their respective companies. So I was actually a little bit bearish on big tech because, typically during these Congress meetings, it never goes well. It almost seems as if they're out to essentially get them and make them look bad. We did watch a little bit of it. I mean, we were chatting in Discord while we were all watching it individually, kind of live streaming it per se. And, it really wasn't a fair fight, meaning the Congress people would ask them questions and then, in my opinion, would not give them an adequate amount of time to answer. So it was almost a one-sided discussion, and it just really wasn't fair to the companies, in my opinion. But because of that, I figured that those stocks would go down. But if you look at the board here, they didn't. I mean, they pretty much traded flat even during the congressional hearing, which was actually surprising to me. So that's a shocker. And in terms of my plays this past week, AMD, look what AMD did today, up another 12.5%. AMD is at market close was at $76.09. I mean, Micron was flat again. Micron's been flat or a little bit red for a few days in a row now. So I might have to take a harder look at Micron next week because now that AMD is about $20, $25 more expensive than where I've usually been playing it, it's going to require a little bit more capital per contract. So I might have to look into making more plays on Micron since as of right now, it's about $25 cheaper. So it would require $2,500 less in capital per contract. So we'll have to keep an eye on Micron. I don't know what's going on with that stock. I might have to take a look at it on the TradingView chart here. So let's just take a look while we're at it because it's been trading flat or kind of sideways for the past couple of days, I've noticed. And I don't know if it's just flat because there's really no good news or bad news either way, but it's kind of been trading in a channel similar to AMD. I mean, I drew these lines a while back. Let's just make them yellow and thicker just so they're easier to see. But I wonder if a similar situation is going to happen to Micron at some point that happened to AMD because, I drew these lines a while back so you can see they don't exactly correlate to where Micron is trading right now. And it did kind of bounce above those lines, but it looks like it came back down. So I wonder what's going on with Micron. I'm going to have to do a little bit more digging. I've been so kind of infatuated with AMD the past couple of trading days that I really ignored Micron because, one, I don't have any positions open on it, and I've kind of focused all of my attention on AMD and my space puts for this week. But be curious to see because it may look like I may open up puts on Micron this coming Monday because, again, it's a cheaper stock compared to AMD right now. And also, who knows how much more room AMD has to run up. I mean, it's been going up like a rocket for, 3 trading days now? I mean, even before earnings, it was going up like a rocket. So it's kind of been crazy what's been happening to AMD. I'm expecting a pullback at some point. Well, let's just take a look at TradingView right now. I mean, just look at this graph. On July 14th, AMD was at $52.81. On July 21st, AMD was at $57, right? Pretty much, if you go all the way back to right around April, mid-April. So April 20th, AMD was also at $58. So from April 20th to basically July 20th, July 21st, really. So April, May, June, July. So 4 months, AMD pretty much did nothing, just bounced up and down between that channel. And then July 22nd, it decided it no longer wants to bounce between this channel and it wants to go to space. So July 22nd, it was at $58. Today we closed at $75. Absolutely crazy. So if I switch to the candlesticks, because I just like to look at the line graph just because it's easier on the eyes. But by switching to the candlestick kind of visualization here, you can see that there's gaps in AMD right now. So there's a theory in technical analysis, and again, you know, not all technical analysis is 100% correct. I mean, actually, no technical analysis is 100% correct. But if you believe in the theory of filling gaps, and shout out to one of my viewers and one of my members in the Discord server, because he actually brought this to my attention. But if you look at it, there are gaps to fill in AMD stock, which are roughly, you know, in these trading ranges between, let's say, around $69, $70 and $74. But then there's also another gap further down here between about $62 and roughly $64. So if you believe in kind of the gap theory, for lack of a better word, at some point it's expected that AMD is going to drop to fill these gaps, right? Because there's no candlestick there. There was no price there. It jumped from here to here, and it jumped from here to here. So if you believe in that theory, at some point AMD should pull back to at least $70-ish, and then at some point also it should pull back down to like $62-ish. So if that's going to happen, then I'm going to want to get shares. You know, I don't know if AMD is ever going to trade back down less than $60 at this point, unless we have a huge market sell-off like we did in February, March, or some big just overall general market catalyst that causes an overall market downturn. I'm not sure if we're going to see these price levels for AMD anymore, coming in the future. But so that tells me that if I get AMD in the low 60s, that might be a good time to kind of get long, maybe try and get assigned shares or just buy shares outright, and then sell covered calls on it, and then let AMD go to whatever, 100, 200, 400, wherever it wants to go. But I mean, everything about AMD right now is just looking great. They have, in my opinion, good prospects, good long-term outlook. They're crushing Intel right now on the CPU side of things, both I think in the commercial sector, but also in the, you know, consumer sector. If you're a video gamer, you know AMD's chips right now are a much better bargain and like value for the dollar, bang for your buck, if you will, when compared to Intel chips. So AMD's just crushing it on all fronts, in my opinion. So I don't know when or if AMD will fill these gaps, but if it does, you know, we might not see those price levels again in the near future. So I'm certainly going to look to scoop up some shares of stock and then ride it long term and then sell covered calls along the way to collect premium. But that's kind of my thought process on AMD. If you want to just take a look at the intraday chart on Robinhood AMD, I mean, it was pretty much flat, right? I mean, we gapped up 11.7% from where we closed yesterday, so up about almost $8. And I think AMD felt that that was a big enough gain for the day, so we're just gonna trade flat all day long, trading flat in after hours. But I just want to point out, in my previous videos leading up to AMD earnings, I talked a lot about IV crush and how before earnings the implied volatility of stocks and options is very high, and that's great for option sellers like us. And then after earnings, the implied volatility drops significantly, and when it drops, it also takes option values or option premiums down with it significantly. So to give you a real world example of IV crush, so I had sold a 61 strike put on AMD this past Monday. So today's Wednesday, so essentially 3 trading days ago, around noontime market. So let's just say 2.5 trading days ago, I sold a put on AMD at the 61 strike price. I sold it for $60. Okay. Before earnings, so end of day yesterday, if you watched my video, the premium was, I believe, $50. So from Monday noon when I opened the position to end of day Tuesday, so basically after about 1.5 trading days, that option premium theta decayed by $10. A theta decay of $10 in a day and a half is, in my opinion, not out of the realm of normal, right? It's pretty standard normal theta decay. That's how you and I are making our money from Theta Gang. So the real kicker though is I made a prediction that because of IV Crush, that this morning when the market opened, when AMD's earnings had happened last evening, that maybe the premium would be around $30 or $40 just because of implied volatility crush. Well, I was wrong and I was way off. When the market opened, this premium was $5. So we closed Tuesday end of day at a premium value of $50. Earnings happened after hours yesterday after market close. AMD had great earnings. We opened market this morning. This was trading at $5. So I profited $45 after hours in one night, essentially, for doing nothing, simply because of IV Crush. So to put it another way, IV Crush is to the benefit of option sellers, but you have to look at on the flip side. So the people that bought options, that's how bad IV Crush hurts them. As much as it helps us, it hurts them equally. So that's one of the reasons why I certainly hesitate if I think about buying options during earnings, because the IV Crush is so big that it's very hard to make profit, in my opinion, or at least for me, buying options through stock earnings. But I mean, I could have closed this out this morning because I believe I'm like 95, 96% profit already on this option in essentially 3 trading days, or actually 2.5 trading days, because if I sold it market open, I would have only left $5 on the table. But at this point, I'm just going to let it ride, because why not, and collect max profit. And I also have that 51 strike put I mentioned that I bought last week, and that was, I think, trading at $3 yesterday. And as predicted, this was going to be a penny, because this is so far out of the money. I mean, at this point, it's about $25, $26 away from the stock price, which is craziness. So I'm going to let that ride to max profit as well, because why not? I feel like I earned it because I selected good strikes and the stock moved in my favor. So why close out early? I mean, yes, you could make the argument that you get that collateral back to open up new plays, but as of right now, I don't want to tinker with it. I don't have any other plays that I want to open it right now in my mind. So I'm just going to let it ride to max profit and just kind of, but yeah, that's how AMD is doing today. So my options are super secure, not worried about them being tested. Like I said, I'm just going to let them ride until Friday expiration to collect max profit. My other plays this week were space puts, and I was just a little bit nervous about them today because it traded in the red pretty much all day long. I mean, we were down about over 4.5% and then traded sideways. But thankfully, my puts are at $20.50 and $21. And it basically traded flat in the high 22s, maybe low 23s. So Theta decay was still working to my advantage, although I wasn't as profitable today as I was yesterday just because the stock price dropped. But like I said, I'm not too worried about it right now because I'm still well above my $20.50 strike price and my 21 strike price. Like I said, I was watching it kind of with one eye on space because I told myself if it does get to like low 22s or maybe high 21s, then maybe I'll just close out my positions for a little bit of profit, because as of right now, I am profitable on these positions. I opened the 21 strike for $17 in premium, so right now I'm up $5 per contract. And then I opened the $20.50 strike last week, so I actually sold that for, if I remember correctly, I believe $26 in premium. So I'm a little bit more profitable on that, but that was because it was a longer data expiration. So I'm good with it. I mean, even if space trades sideways for the rest of the week, I'll be profitable. And like I said, if it starts getting a little iffy, maybe I'll close out these positions, because I don't really want to be assigned shares of space right now, to be honest with you. I'm not really I'm not very bullish, but I'm not very bearish on the stock. I just rather be all cash and maybe use that money for other stock options next week. So that's my thought process on space right now. But yeah, I mean, let's just take a quick look at what the popular options are today. We haven't done this in actually quite some time. So let's just take a look at options and then most active options to see what people were playing today. Let the page load here. So my good old friend AMD, number one option, volume of, wow, I haven't seen an option volume on AMD this high in I don't think ever personally. 1.1 million options were traded on AMD today. 68.7% were calls, 31.3% were puts. I mean, AMD was up almost $8.50 today again. So people clearly bullish on AMD. I mean, take a look. A lot of big tech, right? I'm surprised Apple is up here. I guess a lot of people weren't nervous about Apple's congressional kind of testimony as I was, but people still bullish on Apple. 64% calls. Apple was up $7 and some change today, up about almost 2%. Tesla, PayPal, again, just big tech stocks making up a lot of the popular options. Shopify, so I believe Shopify had earnings. It was either this morning pre-market or yesterday after hours. I think it was pre-market this morning, and I think they did well in the earnings, so that's why the stock actually popped. I mean, they were up again 7% today, but the price of Shopify is just too high. It's $1,000 per share, actually over $1,000. So I have to free up some more capital. I have to make more money if I want to play Shopify, but maybe one day I'll be able to play Shopify. But yeah, just a quick update video today. That was my day in a nutshell. Not too much excitement today as there was yesterday, but my goal at this point is to let my options ride to expiration and just collect max profit this week and just take the win. And I'll do a weekend update video to see how much premium I collected total this week, because I think it will be one of my better weeks on record. So stay tuned for this weekend to get a total and to find out exactly how much return on risk I was able to achieve this week, assuming that all of my options expire worthless and the week works out in my favor. So as always, if you're not in the Discord server already, you're missing out. So make sure you get in there because it's free for right now. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And happy trading.